Alright lads, we've all had time to adjust to the meta changes in Marvel Rivals Season 2, and it's time to talk about the biggest winners and losers in the Vanguard class. Now what you gotta understand about hero shooters like Marvel Rivals is that the tanks are probably the most important hero on your team. They're the true building block of team compositions, because their whole purpose is to take space, absorb damage for the other heroes, and enable your duelists and your strategists to play out their game plans. And especially in a game like Marvel Rivals, where you have the concept of team synergies which are mostly enabled by the vanguards as anchors, you have to take into consideration which vanguards are benefiting from these team-ups and which other heroes are getting abilities and cooldowns that they would otherwise not have that may put them on a higher level of power. We've seen many changes to the dominant team compositions every single season, and Hellfire Gala is no different. This is going to be a season that really rewards aggression. So let's go through these tanks, quickly talk about what's changed with them, and I'll give them a W or an L in this current meta. Now, Bruce Banner, aka the Incredible Hulk, is definitely going to be a big winner in this season. Transforming into his big form real quick, not only does he get a base movement speed adjustment, so he's a little bit faster, he actually charges his jump to full speed faster. And this is one of the things that really enables the dive meta. He pairs very well with the Thing in this sense. His indestructible guard cooldown also has less time on it, which arguably makes him a better frontline tank than a Magneto. Beforehand, Magneto had better bubbles, now Hulk is kind of the bubble king. And those bubbles just power up his ultimate much faster, and his ultimate provides a lot of space. So it's not really about getting eliminations with the ultimate, it's just about knocking them very far back, getting capitalized on this by the Thing, or maybe even an Emma Frost. And then, right before it ends, you can grab it for that, But ultimately, it's just about making the space, providing opportunities for your DPS to move forward. Hulk also got a change to his synergy. Instead of Doctor Strange, he's got Namor on his side now, and this turret is arguably better against vanguards than the old ice turret was. So in my opinion, this only enhances the Hulk as a pick while taking away a lot from Doctor Strange. Moving right into Doctor Strange, this is a hard one to determine because he does get an anchor health bonus for his synergy right now. He does have a new synergy, so we'll start with that. And it's with the Scarlet Witch, and quite honestly, Scarlet Witch is kind of an underperformer if she can't get in 1v1 situations, but this turns her into a pretty devastating bombardment hero. Truthfully, Scarlet Witch is a hero that I don't really play, and I wouldn't recommend playing unless she's fulfilling some sort of synergy. It was like that when she was tied to Magneto, it's the same with Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange still has all of his old benefits, like he hits the headshots, he has enhanced melee, which is two things that most of the vanguards do not do. The only problem is everything he does has gotten a bit of a power nerf, so his thresholds are different. He no longer 3 KOs squishies, it takes him 4 hits to take him down, and that little microsecond of time is enough for those melee characters to really work you over. However, we can't forget that he has the power of the portal, and this portal alone is like an ultimate. This changes the pace of games so much. There's broken tech you can do this. You can free up your supports to be like further away from damage, or sneak an ultimate into the backline with this thing. It's just insanely powerful, and for that reason, I can't give Doctor Strange a W or an L. I think I'm neutral on this character. He remains about the same power level. Moving into Captain America, he's also gotten major changes. Another anchor bonus synergy hero, this time for Winter Soldier. And this gives him not only 100 extra health, but 5% damage boost. And truthfully, I don't know how useful this is. It's kind of situational, right? They charge to each other. So if there's people in between us, the Winter Soldier will charge to me and it'll do a lot of damage. But it's more that Winter Soldier is just a really good character. And Captain America has gotten a lot of buffs over the course of Season 1 and now in Season 2. This hero is virtually unkillable if you play him right, and he charges up his shield throws like this, and if they try to run away, you can chase them down, charge in for big attacks. But it's really just that he runs around so annoying, and you can't really take him out. And just when you think you're gonna take him out, he hits his ultimate and becomes virtually unkillable. And the thing that makes him really, really good is the team comps that you can use with him. Say you have a Luna Snow, you have a Captain America, you have a Loki. These are all support ultimates that make you unkillable in the moment, and it's really good for just timing out the enemy team. So for that reason, Captain America, huge W right now. And I love the Winter Soldiers just following me around the training room. That's hilarious, bro. Now our next Vanguard, Groot, has gotten no changes this season, and that's actually what makes him so good. In my opinion, Groot is the highest skill level Vanguard, and he's also the most influential. I mean, his whole kit is literally built around making walls. And if you know by now, the short ones cause damage when they're too close, and then the long one heals you from damage. And it's about where you deploy these, and also making sure you don't block off your teammates from doing their job. And that's why I say, if you have a bad Groot on your team, he can actually cause you to lose games. However, he pairs very well with Emma Frost. The newest Vanguard pairs very well with the Thing, and I'm not going to pretend I have too much experience with the Groot. I'm definitely going to get more this season, but he is a powerhouse. Definitely a W. Also benefiting immensely from the team up synergy. 150 health, by the way. And if you actually have one of these healers on your back, it's pretty much impossible to kill you. If you can't get people to team focus the Groot with a shark on his back, he's just not gonna die. And this is why if you're even a decent level Groot, he can carry you through the metal ranks all the way into platinum, maybe even into diamond. And he's a character that really rewards you for learning to play him. And we can't forget how well his ultimate pairs with everyone else's ultimate, because it pulls them into a center mass and they can't escape. So if you have a Moon Knight, Namor, Chaos, you know, Scarlet Witch, anything that does an area of effect insta-death damage, Iron Man's, this is the perfect combo for that. It makes him such a good anchor for the team. The next Vanguard, Venom, definitely benefited from having nothing change in his kit. He's got huge solo potential. His whole thing is about climbing up, diving into the backline, just making a problem for the enemies, and then as soon as he's gonna die, he buffs his own health. And by the way, this health is 1.2 for every 1 health you've lost. So if you've lost a lot of health, let me show you right now. Down at 100, we use the cooldown, takes us to 1040, but with the potential for 1740, because the thing about armor is it just goes above your health and you can still be healed by it. So if we had supports on our side, we just become the tankiest tank to ever tank in the game. And of course, if the enemy manages to blow through that, you always can just swing out and get the heck out of there. So a really good Venom will pretty much never die. They're going to be one of the most annoying Vanguards to fight, and they're gonna roll all over your supports. Quick mention of his synergy, because he competes with Groot, getting 150 max health as well, but also enabling the Spider-Man to do incredible things, have momentary invulnerability. This pretty much takes Spider-Man from a B tier character to an S tier character. And then he does the same for Peni Parker, and Peni Parker might be one of the most improved Vanguards in the game with Season 2's update, and I'm gonna get to that here in a second, but let me just say, Venom, probably my personal favorite tank since the beginning of this game, my first main, my one true love. The most cheeked up hero in Marvel Rivals, and I recommend you guys try him out and play him properly. And let me give you one more tip. It's about his ultimate, the most misunderstood ultimate in the game, because what it does is take away 50% of your current health plus 50 damage on top of that. So you don't want to lead with it. You want to be beating them up a little bit beforehand, then you hit it when they're at their lowest. Boom, you see how it comboed into it? And that's a bit of a pro combo right there, by the way. Tether into ultimate, come out, Tether unleashes. Now, I absolutely love the Goo King, but I did have a bit of an affair with Magneto in Season 1. And in my opinion, he's lost a bit over time. If you can get an Emma Frost on your team, he benefits from that synergy immensely. But the fact that he lost his magnetic sword from Scarlet Witch means he lost a lot of his solo carry potential. He also has a longer recharge time on his bubbles and his hard shield, which gives him a much harder time protecting his squishy supports when they're getting dove on. But if you get lucky enough to have an Emma Frost on your team, and they're pretty common right now, you'll have access to Shadow Clone Jutsu, which gives you double bubble. You'll bubble yourself and your teammate. But this, if anything, makes your bubble even more important how you use it. It's really just an ultimate cancel. It's kind of a trump card. Otherwise, as Magneto, you're kind of just standing in the front, taking damage, putting up your hard shield, but then every time it goes down, you have like 3 to 4 seconds until it can go back up. And since your bubbles are on a longer cooldown, you're spending more time in the pit, taking damage, feeding the other team's ultimates. And overall, this just makes you more of a liability. Still a very strong Vanguard, but definitely took an L in this update. Another Vanguard who took a huge L is Thor, and this is just because he lost his synergy. He used to anchor Captain America and Storm, but he no longer does that. And though his health has been adjusted, it isn't the same level. I'm pretty sure he lost about 50 on this exchange. And it's not that he's necessarily bad, it's just that he lags behind the other Vanguard. So his whole thing is to dive in, lay down electrical field. If they move out of it, they will take some damage. And then, you know, when you have your full hammer, you pop into the Odin Awaken form, and this allows you to plow through and take out the squishies that are in the back line. But the thing is, the Thing does this much better than he does. He also kind of has a disappointing ultimate. People just run away from it. It can do a lot of damage, but Escape is so heavy in the current meta. Dive gives you the ability to go in and also go out. So Thor has a real problem capturing people in the zone where he wants to fight, where other heroes like the Thing can just chase him down. Thor was a hero I really liked at the beginning of this game, but he's definitely taken an L since Season 0, and took a huge L in Season 2, simply by not getting buffed. Now, Peni Parker has gotten major buffs in Season 2. Primarily is her main fire, which didn't used to do crit hits. And that's such a big deal, because look at how much faster she eliminates the enemy when she can actually do headshots. She also went from 650 health to 750, which gives her way more survivability. And by the way, she heals when standing on her own webs. Most people don't know that about her tech. So I'll place a web in front of this guy, start taking damage. One, it pumps me up to 900 armor, and it just keeps replenishing my armor right here. It's not that much per second, but it's enough to make a difference. It means she can't really be soloed when she's standing in her own webs. Obviously, she lays down the traps, which puts down the spider bots around her, and this makes her like the perfect counter to the dive meta. A Peni Parker plus an Emma Frost can counter anything that your enemies are trying to do dive-wise. That's probably the best Vanguard combo if you're on a capture point map. And then of course she has her ultimate, which is probably a bit underpowered, but to be honest, I don't want it to have too much power, because if it had too much power, it would just be devastating. This is just a stall. If anything, you really want to be running into the backline of the enemy and just laying down these mines, or circling the capture point, taking them out, because the problem is if you get too far away from your bomb generator, people are just going to destroy it, and you're actually going to lose ground for using your ultimate. But overall, huge W for this Vanguard. I'm definitely going to be using her in ranked, and I recommend you do that as well. Now it's time to talk about the Thing, and the Thing is a real problem, and he's the guy that enables the whole dive meta to exist, and let me explain why. First of all, when he charges in, he gets overshield. 200. And this will probably happen if you're playing against a Smart Thing player after he buffs his teammate. So he's going to have a defensive buff on top of that 200 health. He's going to be taking so little damage as he's charging into you. Let me give you a bit of an example right now. And then I charge through. I took 18 damage on a shot that probably would have done 30. And that's a huge debuff on damage. He also gains 50 armor every time he throws one of these. And these things are devastating. They reach very far. You'll be surprised how far you can reach. I actually use this sometimes to catch flying heroes. You just charge it, do a jump, and boom. You're taking out an Iron Man on a low ceiling. And of course he has the Clobber in Time ultimate, which actually disables movement abilities, which makes them much more vulnerable to your combos. You can charge after them after that effect wears off, and you'll again disable their movement abilities. It means that people cannot run from the Thing, and supports just lose. You put them in a no-win situation, and those are the best kind of situations for you if you're trying to win. This game is predicated around combining overpowered mechanics together to create no-win situations, because the truth of it is, most heroes are kind of overpowered if they're enabled to play out their game plan. And that comes down to your teamwork, your coordination, your hero picks, your team comps, etc. Another factor that makes him so devastating is the Fantastic Four synergy, and this just gives him another layer of healing, and this won't show until after you take some damage, so you see how it's just recharging me back to 50 above my normal health. And it's just going to keep doing that for about 5 to 6 seconds. So if you're putting these puzzle pieces together, you can see how he's a real problem. Throw on the synergy, get a defensive buff, charge in, start jabbing for extra, and that whole time you're getting healed, or you're getting protected by Emma Frost, getting bubbled by a Magneto. I probably have the highest ratio of games to MVPs with the Thing, and I'm well on my way to 100 games with him, so if you've enjoyed the video so far, recommend you subscribe. That video will be out in the near future. But one final Vanguard to talk about, the newest hero of the season, Emma Frost, and she completely changes the meta. She's the only thing that stands against the Thing. And it's going to be one that her damage is percentage based. So you see how this goes up in damage over time, the meter below it increasing, and this should take her to about double damage by the time you get it full. And it's really going to be the easiest to fill this on tanks like the Thing. Unkillable Thing suddenly becomes a bit more killable when you're using Emma Frost. Combine that with her tether, which does a flat 25% of HP. So you throw this tether at the Thing with fully charged Crystal Beam, and suddenly he's not so tough anymore. There's also the fact that the Thing is unstunnable. He resists the sleeps, he resists the freezes, he resists the traps, and the only condition that's better than that is the unstoppable condition of Emma Frost Diamond Form, because this resists his clobbering time, this resists his run-throughs. She just stands there completely unmoved, and then just chokeslams the Thing, and it's actually pretty hilarious. She can make the Thing really regret the decision to dive, but it's about who you pair her with. I briefly mentioned before that she has synergy with Magneto, and you really need to capitalize on this if you are using her. Double Bubble gives you so much ultimate resistance, so much survivability. It enables Psylocke to be one of the best DPSs in the game, get one-hit combos on her flanks. The only other tank I'd really pair her with is Groot, because Groot just makes her Diamond Form combos much better, because her Diamond Form combos are all about fighting in enclosed spaces, and they actually have damage bonuses when you hit people against the wall. And of course, probably one of the most influential ultimates in the game in terms of Vanguards, this will cancel their ability to use ultimates, but also make them walk towards you. And you can use this to trap people in a Groot, use them to trap people in your Psylocke, and it actually does quite a bit of damage as well. If you're hitting them dead on, it does like 80 per second, just absolutely melting these two squishies, and they can't respawn by using their abilities or even fight to protect themselves. Like I said, winning the game is about combining trump cards, and Emma Frost gives you access to every trump card to stop the dive meta, and if you're playing at the highest levels of ranked, it's really going to come down to dive versus anti-dive. The whole shield death ball thing has been completely nerfed, Trey support has been completely nerfed, and because of that, I gotta give Emma Frost a huge W. She's the newest Vanguard of the season, and definitely the most influential. Comment down below how you're feeling about the current state of Marvel Rivals, and maybe check out this video next to me where I go in depth with Emma Frost Kit, go much more detailed into the nuances, showing you how to use her to maximum potential. And if this video has brought you value, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.